Sanji Chudang Soji Janam La Janjum Pandun Dani Japsu Chi Daji Jinsun Jibi Sonam Jin Dora Benji Sanji Ndrukur Yunshu Sanji Chudang Soji Janam La Janju Bardo Dani Japsu Chi Daji Jinsu Gibi Sonam Jin Dora Benji Sanji Ndrukur Yunshu Sanji Chudang Soji Chunam La Changju Bardo Dani Japsu Chi Daji Jinsu Gibi Sonam Rolla Pension Sanji Ru in English. You want to share?
In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly, I take refuge until I attain enlightenment. By the virtuous merit that I create by practicing giving and other perfections, I attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings.
Yes, the Hajj Channel, doing your own one, the Russian, several come to be make us on top of the doing the way is the Shinyan on the chart. Ah, because on 35? 35. Okay. 35%, 35. 나 신지 연전이 나도 다그 두자데 되다 연전을 개발자서 검조나 다디 저기 순주 subsidy 연주시다 순주 can you read the 34 once again?
Yet, if within myself I do not perceive even a fraction of the perseverance required to exhaust these faults, then why do I not have a heart attack? For now I have become an abode for infinite misery.
어디 순주 subsidy 나라 된대지도 와 다시 중지가 용이 다 있죠 뭐或者你重要的就是나하고 지치를 당연히 제가 통화 매번에 다디 들으시냐나 동행 모션이 동행기 동행 모션이 아주 마소네 동행 모션에 되라 지금 그도 동행이 내밖에 없들라 동행 모션스라고 요르데 이내 동행 자원 모션스에 돼 동행 자원 용석이 시치니기 다 레단 요모니디 그 내밖에 다는 모션 좀 동행 모션다지 다디문에 동행 모션다 다디 되게 아니 레단 요모기 상황으로 좀 차이 쇼라 아니 알아 그뒤에 기ව 연구 말에 섬지 섬로디 레 차우제 딘리실레네 디 동행들레 타바치도 딘레 타바 잠시 체그 말에 아니 신 동행을 타바서 마시 신 심진 탐제라 강라 강두기 아니 팬도치 얘기 아니 산지 꾸치도베도 던저 산지 꾸치 루비 여바데 다 달랭을 주 산지 게 때바단지 알하바도 태고침비 취단 제니 던저기 섬로디 개원데 아니 셈나로리아 주류 믹스지 게야라 다 신에 다다바도 랑기 아니 차단 다다바도 다 뮤직 소소고 뮤직을 탄데 섬로스탄데 다 배전 다다바도 하나만도 뮤직 트라단서 섬로지 디인데 다 트라단바도 원신제 아니 셈나로다 다다바도 뮤직 트라단시죠 섬로 딘데지 섬로 코원데 다 상기의 기 누바 아니 타르버 루비의 기 누가 팀뷰지 잠시라 양 안 주지 다 구조를 좀 라고도 스마트홈치 아니 지금 심말로 톱전 로주 쳐서나 아니 이 셈이야 다 간이 심부지 단다 지나로 들어가 제 지금 가서 야 닝마게 세티 하드드 세트리 어디 가르치니까 아 단도에 가르치는 것 같은데 시기요 말이지 근데 삼모단도 양고 지나로 삼모단다 믹스지 있는 레서와
And so if we to put this verse 34 into a bit of context, then where we always have to start off is knowing what the suffering is and knowing what suffering is. And that's not just a matter of sort of understanding the kind of direct suffering that comes into our lives. It's not like that, but really recognizing the kind of root and basis out of which that suffering stems. So understanding that we are that the suffering comes from a root and a cause, and that is the karma mental afflictions, and then understanding that we are other powered, we are under the sway of these karma and mental afflictions, and thus if that is the case, then we can really have no hope of really ever being able to experience suffering while we're in that condition. So that's so when we talk about knowing suffering, it has to be known in this much more kind of deeper way of understanding its deeper causes, and that we are powered and under the sway of those other causes. So that's a much kind of more deeper way of understanding what it means to know suffering. And so and then, of course, if we understand the suffering, and that we understand that then there is a way out of that suffering, that there is a liberation from that suffering. But then we also need to think not just in terms of not just in terms of oneself being able to liberate oneself from that kind of suffering that we've identified, but also in the sense trying to having a much wider view, where we take the perspective of wishing to help all the sentient beings to achieve that liberation from suffering, which working for the welfare. So we need a condition in which we're able to work for the welfare of others, and this is the Buddha, the Buddha's body, the body of the Buddha, that is the thing that can help us to be able to do that. And so we are people who've met the Buddha Dharma. I mean, we're fortunate to meet the Buddha Dharma, and also to meet the Mahayana form, the greater vehicle of the Buddha Dharma. And so there should be within us a kind of special kind of feeling of joyous effort because of that. But if we look then back at the way that what we've done with our lives up to now, then more or less, when we look at it, it seems like we've kind of wasted a lot of our lives. And again, we need to understand that has been a waste, but also then to understand that that we have the seed, a kind of potentiality to be able to achieve liberation, to be able to achieve complete Buddhahood. And so without sort of putting things off into some kind of future existence, which we don't know what it'll be, we should sort of strive hard in this life. What was the last thing you said? I forgot. Tamadi nansuki sangiki nubadan tabatopi nuba yobador shite and se chimala kasa mari jikten chimadan stanzo hako yomarwa ani se dila kase. I've written a word, but I can't read it.
Dog
Sunduk mixer Doshiko,
Sanjiki Church, that's Dungela Tava Yoga some masse. And 라바도 인 심진의 리기톤도야 아니 마선도 미치기양 아니 산지지 고방도 토베이나 아니 뒤다도 인 심진기 아니 겹당 군접 수치 투예기 내가 쳐봐줘 봐 하코나 디지 하코나스 아 하코와 될 때네 신의 준비 메시지가 왔어 또 변는 동일에 제가 제그 점시 예배기 토네 준비 계단 지역 용초로 봐 이나양 다 산지 연된도 저당 뒤다도 양양도 전주 전달 준주 저거 전주 선배 게다 연된 조디 들어봐 산지 연된다 용서 저거 신에 들어봐 디셈버이나 심진 같은 주무지신 그도 네 단다 아주기 전주 셈들이야 이번인 데스라는 신 수고다 수고디 리도아
Many
봐 이번인 데스라도 수고디래 원도 잠배 수고부터 가려서 아니 강라 판중기 텔 택점 봤어요 시지 고 어디 딱딱 지금도 조조사에서도 텔리든 심슈기에 지금도 왔어.
So a kind of special kind of courage, a kind of courage within us, but also a kind of special kind of feeling to that feeling to strive harder. The joyous effort will come, but this comes not just of course I think that on the basis of just having the potential or the ability to be able to merely get rid of all of these deep sufferings and achieve liberation from them, that also brings a kind of courage or also kind of a feeling of joyous effort to work towards that. But then if we also think from this more wider perspective again of how having the ability to perform the welfare of each and every sentient being just as they require it, and then so this comes from also understanding, knowing the qualities of the Buddha. So understanding that within the sort of what bodhicitta itself is, it contains two aspirations. One is the aspiration for achieving the Dharmakaya, and the other one is the aspiration to achieve the Rupakaya or the form body, and then understanding all of the qualities of each of those, but particularly in this case in terms of helping to perform the welfare of all sentient beings, then understanding the Buddha's a refuge and being able to provide a refuge to all sentient beings. But then this is particularly understood through the aspect of the form body, because that's the form body is the one that which specifically engages with sentient beings and performs the welfare of each and every one of them just as they require it. So you can see this more sort of much more deeper feeling that will come, a deeper courage and a deeper form of joyous effort will arise.
So when I said when we look back, we feel that we have wasted lots of our time, not in this life, but the kind of the beginningless, whatever in the kind of form we are born, but looks like we have wasted. So most of people are saying, because it's written, we were told by the great masters that we have wasted our life. That I always say it's not really healthy to take away somebody's word or like somebody's experience as your experience. This won't last long. But now, with our feeling, we should have to feel something that we have wasted enough. So, in a very simple way, how do you prove it? That how we have wasted our life. Not going much into looking into the past lives, but in a kind of a more
more direct
example, in front of you, that it's something, yes, it's related to the past and future life for sure, but we don't need to go look so deeply about whether there's past and future life or not, but seeing this and feeling this, that you feel like maybe I have rested. So how do you prove it to yourself? Yes. Huh?
The sentient beings are the suffering.
The sentient beings are suffering so much. Okay. Okay. And I am suffering so much. Can you really say that? I am suffering so much. Can you close the door? Yes. Yes, this could be one reason, but for me, sometimes it's helpful to think when we study, when we try to, we heard so much about bodhicitta, emptiness, and some of us always stay in an environment that we can hear emptiness on the YouTube. We hear emptiness from His Holiness, from our teachers. You take classes, but putting so much effort. But still, in my case, sometimes you know the reasons. You have completed so many kind of books and sort of there's experience, but there's realization is not coming up. It's not coming. But for some, if you be not biased, but truthful, some people, without much kind of effort, they come to realize faster. In your classmates, in your friends, some people are a little faster than you. And of course, there's some people are slower than you. So yes, 100 people, different brains, different ways of thinking. Of course, yes, there is. But when it comes to realize another different kind of case that we really need to look into, your internet connection is unstable. Okay. The internet is.
Oh, mine just froze also.
Yeah.
Change it up.
Okay. Working? They are meditating. My goodness.
Are they moved?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
The internet is terrible. Yeah. Okay, you guys with us? Okay, good. Okay. When I look at you, people are very, very stable. Looks like everybody are meditating. Okay. Then if you do some, like, if you wanted to plant something, a beautiful flower, your neighbor has a same seed, your friends have a same seed, and you have the seed of the beautiful flower, and we all plant together, and the seed has no kind of differences, and you plant it, and then your is not coming on time, and your neighbor is growing faster. Forget about jealousy here, but be honest way of thinking. There's something wrong with how you planned it. Maybe there's something problem with the soil, the earth. So then you really need to investigate you really need to check it. So this is what I'm thinking. Here, when it's not coming very well, even you get the same kind of blessings from His Holiness and your gurus. But then something is lacking down there. Then this problem never started only in this life. Something happened. Something happened. Not because of the biological fact, biological silhouette, because your biological sister maybe or brother might be smarter than you on this case. Maybe I'm talking about on the level of practice. Then dear, this is the time I always felt very helpful. Now I only have to, if I have to blame something, that I have to blame something on that something happened in the past. Because in this life, this I didn't do so bad thing that I cannot come to putting so much effort that the realization is not coming. That it's helpful for me. So maybe if you go back to your cushion and do your practices, check with this. So then this is the time maybe you have a few different ways to think about past and future life. Maybe it's like you really wanted to improve, isn't it? If you are doing the daily thing, most people, and including myself, what we do is every day doing the same thing and not putting kind of a measuring thing in the brain. Every day, same thing. Whatever you do sadhana, or you do the commitments of tantra or sutra, whatever you do, you finish it in 1 hour. That's it. But we are not trying to look to go deeper. You wanted to see more kind of a beauty inside. So once you really wanted to dig that out, then you will really feel, I put lots of effort. I'm doing so much purification. I'm doing like this accumulating lots of merit. But what's something wrong there? Then sometimes you will feel like, of course, something is wrong there. Then sometimes when you have this kind of a question, and then sometimes doing a definition is very good. Normally people don't do definition on this. So this is the very good. In the text of the definition, it's there. But most people don't come with this kind of question, because this is not a kind of important in their life, our life. Could be this reason. So this every time it comes to my mind when, oh, now purification that I have to do is without the help of the emptiness, I cannot bring down all this kind of the stain from the past. So then this encouragement has a little bit of like strength in there. This helps. So, okay. Dirvata Sunju Sufidis one. 35 dadan shinji yönden mango da gidupje tela yönden rere yang gyeba gyatsu komgyurna dagi yönden chalayın kombanam yamage de jishi tat ni gyawani dagi tüme chaba tsar 35 and 36 please.
Likewise, I shall have to realize many excellent qualities for myself and others. And in order to attain each of these qualities alone, I may have to acquaint myself with its cause until an ocean of eons is exhausted. However, I have never developed acquaintance with even a fraction of these excellences. How strange it is to squander this birth I have found by some coincidence.
다들 저거도 로나 다다 신지 타바다 탐지 진비 연전 왕보다 다그 주버 저다 탐지 비시로 어디 말한저 다나 봐 라서
Yes.
어디 이만지제 다 될라 연데 뭐로 따쇼 샘베다 보르레 라니 겨버잡수 공부를 주바나 다기 연데 다기 차라이 공부나야 마제데 튜뉴르무 셰 지시터 네베 텐주기 겨워네 다기 셋디치기 태매걸 쉬심바 쳐봐 차를 쉐베 이 쉐베 프린시플 다다다 니 라버티 단다 도도 찍드나 레이도아
So I'll just read, first of all, I'll just read from the commentary Gyaltsab Dharma Rinpoche, Gyaltsab J, which Rinpoche has just read. In English, it says, one should establish the many qualities of one's own and others' liberation and enlightenment because one has promised to do so. Not to mention all the qualities, if it is necessary to meditate for, not to mention all of the qualities, if it's necessary to meditate for an ocean of eons, even for one individual quality of the Buddha's marks and signs, then one has not started to even partially meditate on those qualities. It is strange that I make meaningless this birth with its freedoms and endowments for this and future births now when somehow I have found it after such a long time. This is an expression of despair, it's in the commentary. So despairingly said.
차 지단에 살았어야 돼. 쳐다보고 구주를 다 뒤고서 살았어야 돼. 근데 베타 소소소답에 좀 왔었네. 말아라 이치도 세서 그러지도.
Yemsawa 좀
저래 당 소소소소 당 말아라 삼로당마 된지지. 예 된지지 유도 전에 당아 이치 말아라 이치도 세.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's a word that's used in the very last line of the Tibetan of verse 36, which is tsar ma sa sa sar, and it's this kind of sense of it's kind of unbelievable or something. Where I myself couldn't believe in it, so it's kind of astonishment or something like that. How in the English, I think he's translated it as "how strange," which would be "yamsawar," but it's more like being another person or completely unbelievable to oneself. It has that much kind of stronger meaning. How could this possibly be? Kind of thing. I can't believe it. That's the flavor which comes across from using that word, which in the English is in the third line, but it says how strange it is to squander. So it has a kind of stronger meaning than that. It's much more despair or amazement that we would do that.
So now you look at this, I don't need to explain one by one this, but it's we can understand. But now here, this one especially, 어디? 나는 현재는 공부 맞이 튜유를 무신의 지단이를 전주되네. 이게 저거 중요해서 맞죠. So 연대를 리서치도.
Yeah.
연대를 리서치하고
Each quality, each and every
quality, that is Buddha's quality. Buddha's quality. Each and every Buddha's quality, we listen to it, we hear about it. But for us, we feel like Buddha is, wonderful. Not much feeling is there. So then now here, Shantideva is saying, we don't have this kind of a closeness towards this. Why? This is a great question, because if we talk about the quality of something that is good for your attachment, helps you to grow your attachment, then you really need it. But when we talk about the quality of Buddha, and especially the quality of the compassion, the Buddha maybe far, but let's talk about the quality of compassion, the quality of the goodness of Buddha. Then still we feel, of course, compared to others, maybe who does not, or who are like against Buddha, compared to that, we are maybe better, but we don't have much feelings towards it. That is one dangerous thing. Why it's not coming to me? So because we all are kind of like it now, Shantideva family. Maybe many people ask me, do you remember your past life? This is a very common question, because it's very new to the Western society, and also in the Eastern. So they go like reincarnation, and special tulku, and then they go like, do you remember it? So this is kind of now, they want a kind of evidence from me. Then I have lots of the excuses for them to answer. Like when I was very young, they say that I remember, so something like being honest. And but I always ask myself that if I wanted to remember something from my past life, who was Serkong Rinpoche, so then when each and every time I hear his quality from the many people, his devotion to his holiness is very unique. When he gives a kind of teaching and he says the name of Dalai Lama, the tears will come out. And even if he wanted to say something, Dalai Lama comes out from his mouth, and then automatically he cannot hold his tear, and he sometimes cannot complete his talk and lecture or teachings. That's him. So now this brings me so much kind of curiosity and so much kind of inspiration towards me, kind of like I'm being so curious now, wanting to know what's behind there. If I have this, then I can explore so much with this kind of faith. So this I'm lacking. So this is maybe kind of a not only I have to have, but this all must have this kind of thing. So now then he looks at his holiness in a different way, not like a 87 years old man, famous old man who is a Nobel laureate.
Yeah, Nobel laureate.
Most people look like this, but as a practitioner's way of looking to his holiness has to be in a different way, and also to your guru. So Sanskrit name of the guru is, if you translate directly, it says Jiva. Jiva means heavy. The heavy is not like this book is heavy than this, but the heavy is that how much you wanted to live. It's like unimaginable. The weight is there. We cannot because this is the weight of the knowledge. When, like, if you love your mother so much, and then somebody say how much you love your mother, 10%, 3%, 20%. If somebody loves their mother so much, this kind of question will annoy the other person. Of course, 100%. Then maybe if you love so much more than, and then it's beyond measuring. So my predecessor sounds like he has this kind of thing. That is something that I really wanted to bring out, but I might be successful in that. I'm not sure, but it looks like it's quite important. So the proof is also this one, saying each and every time you look into the quality of the Buddha,
look at each individual
qualities of the Buddha. That chala kumba namya ma yede tunyu rumu shes jishikta de nyebe tenju gi gewa de dagi che chime tunyu meber chusen bache. The most of the time in this life, quality where you wanted to have more kind of a looking the quality is that the downfalls more towards to negative things. So this is quite a good practice for all of us. So if you go to the temple, if you will stay near to the teacher or guru that you have faith, and then trying to ask yourself, as a practitioner, everybody knows that I'm a devotee, and people see me in a kind of a different kind of form. But where is this differences now? Sometimes you go to the Bodh Gaya. We all go to Bodh Gaya. You're so famous, so blessing there. Sometimes we really don't know which kind of from direction that you have to knock on the temple. You just sit down there, and the first day it's good feeling, different environment, and then looking around there, everybody is doing hard work and so much putting effort in practice. Looks like a good mate, Dhamma brothers is just helping you to do your kind of practice well, encouraging you. But then if you are doing a prostrations, doing mandala offerings, doing water offerings, or so on, but then slowly it becomes so normal, like ordinary. If the strength, the inspiration is gone, it won't stay like for maybe for a few seconds will be there. It won't be like forever there. It's forever there. Then, of course, you feel like next time you go to Bodh Gaya, nobody can stop you going there. Even pandemics there, you wanted to go there. Like His Holiness Dalai Lama, I will go next year. We are feeling like there will be a second wave. His Holiness said, next year I will go there. So he has this kind of feeling there. So this is important. This is important. One important for all the practitioners to look into this, investigate more here. And it 37. Dagi chumde machujing, agadun shimbu de maji, ten la chawa macheda, ubu samba mandoche, jigla mijig majinda, and Nyamta de majinata, 마이 니도 수고다 눈이 뭐시 깨버스데 37 and 38.
I have not made offerings to the Lord Buddhas. I have not given the pleasure of great festivals. I have not performed actions for the teachings. I have not fulfilled the wishes of the poor. I have not granted fearlessness to the frightened, and I have not given happiness to the weak. All I have given rise to is the agonies in the mother's womb and to suffering.
It says greatly in the translation. He uses the word great festival, but it could be like a banquet or a
party.
A party. Yes, I didn't give great parties.
Late night party. 37. 가든 첨부 디나 두든 취에 잡고 가든 첨부 뒤에서 와요. 가든 첨부 거는 이 대화만 지금. 된 첨부 지에 가든 첨부 지에 거는 이 대화 마진다스. 미망불을 세수로지. 미망불을 야 아니 셈을 펜베 내가 맞춰 봐. 이 대에서 거대해서 와. Body source can that
Yeah. So maybe a better the way that Tibetan Drapa is sort of saying about it is giving sort of mental happiness to many people. So this idea, instead of thinking about a party or a banquet or a festival, is more like the opportunity to offer to many different kinds of people joy and happiness, and that kind of sense of like that thing, as in a more sort of generalized way, rather than throwing a party.
then anything on Lolia, then the child much is a joy. Then the child much is a the antenna to the tree tree in the style. Did what? Then the child much of a super jumper said to do.
Yeah.
Jumper,
Yeah.
shirt, something down. And it means you jump so much between the then the child much is it.
So in clarifying the third line of 37, where it says I've not performed actions for the teachings, Tibetan Shigidrapa in his commentary clarifies that by saying that what that means in not engaging or performing the actions of the teachings of the Dharma is the three kinds of generosity, that of giving, generosity of giving the Dharma, the generosity of giving kind of appropriate material things, and the generosity of giving fearlessness. So those the not giving of those three things here Tibetan Shigidrapa identifies as not performing the actions related to the teachings.
That did not only tanda did well. We be simple job much of we be simple job set that the fulfilling were fulfilling so where fulfilling the fasorate
The wishes of the poor.
The wishes of the poor. This is we really need to think very carefully. So what does that really mean? Fulfilling the poor people's wish. Did Buddha did that? Did Buddha become successful in that? And therefore, maybe Buddha didn't go to Africa then. They work outside Yemen,
Yeah.
all the poor. I know in Mumbai, Delhi, so many. So what does that really mean? For me, it does not mean that we have to go there and have each and every sentient being and make poor people rich. Person who does not have an education, give the education. Not only that, that completely is, of course, complete from the mind or the satisfaction from the the other person, the second person is important, but it is very important the person who does the practice. We go there and then His Holiness Dalai Lama might say, oh, give the poor people some kind of a donation. Then automatically in our mind, we will always think, of course, yes, the Dalai Lama is right because the poor people needs money. That's why I need to give them money. And once you give the money, you will think that money is for them only. And that happiness is for them only. So what is lacking there? Where is your happiness in there? It's not complete. Maybe that person maybe once or maybe only 10 rupees, but you have give that person 500 rupees. So he's like so happy. Is it complete complete generosity? Complete generosity. Mission successful? Not, I don't call this as a mission successful, because your guru is going to give a task each and every time kind of practice that you feel I did a great job today. That makes me so happy. And when you give this 500 rupees to the poor people, he will give you a huge smile. And the next day, if you try to give him a 10 rupees again, then maybe there's a problem. So we should be careful. What is that? And then similar patience. Patient means like if somebody is so mad, so angry towards you, and then you're not saying anything and holding it like this. I call this holding. Even you need to go to a washroom and holding it for like this. This is same feeling. This holding. This is not a practice. This is not a patience. That kind of patient is not for that person, for your enemy. It's for your own good. And then right after all this bad thing almost happened to you, you feel like, if I don't have this shield, then this could happen. This bad thing can happen. This didn't happen because of this shield that I have. And then there's a happiness. And then do you feel like, I did a great job. And this didn't come, it didn't came from
within inside of myself.
Within sight of my doing.
Yeah.
This is
yeah. It didn't come from, I didn't kind of create it myself.
This is a tiny shared experience that I got it from my great teacher. So then you feel grateful. So there is a little bit of good taste about patience there. And then you really wanted to do it again next day, tomorrow, again and again. So mostly we go like, you have to have patience means like taking a defeat. Nobody wants to take a defeat. Even Bodhisattvas don't like taking a defeat. Because they take defeat because they see such a huge victory there. Not for only you, for others too. So that we have to see this kind of thing when we do practices. This is, I'm lacking this kind of quality, but I'm trying to look for this kind of strength in me. then I feel like I'm doing this right. Maybe we all should try that. Maybe some of you been trying this, but some maybe not. So should try this. And then sometimes this is verse 38 is good to when you have so much kind of ego, and then sometimes too much kind of clinging towards samsara. And this is good. Starting from your starting from the inside your mother's womb, and up to now, you've been not doing a great job. In the mother's womb, you've been kind of with or without intention, you've been giving so much pain. Start giving pain towards your mother. But the mothers are very compassionate, because they will never complain that a naughty child of mine for 9 months they gave me so much pain. They will never say that. Biologically they accept this. But for us, sometimes we might think like this. If you start thinking like this, then you will not appreciate anything. But sometimes this is good. From me coming in this world, it started with a cry and giving pain to my loved ones. So so now from starting from right now, I should do something positive. This is quite brings a kind of motivation, but don't mix this with kind of like, I'm a sinner, I'm so bad, oh, I cannot be improved. Don't mix this kind of thing, because we already finished the first chapter, second chapter, third chapter, fourth chapter, and fifth chapter, and sixth chapter, and we are on the seventh chapter. So not forgetting all what Shantideva talked before, and then you have the feedback. All these qualities that I feel so close to, and these are the tools that I can come over any kind of suffering. And then why I cannot still practice this and still make this my own, then these are the obstacles. Then bringing this is very hard. Says 39 다네 다자리야 철러 묘다 제와이 홍보된데 중으로 줄 수시 철러 매봤던 39.
Both now and in previous lives, such deprivation has arisen because of my lack of aspiring for the Dharma. Who would ever reject this aspiring for Dharma?
So 37 and 38 is not only complaining about yourself, because look at the 39, it says that in the past and up to now, from the past up to now, I've been doing this by not because you like it so much, because it is you are under
the sway of
under the power or under the sway of this ignorance mind. So now you know that you got kind of a kind of cheated by one of your one-side brain. Not 100%.
It's all
So now then you come to know, and you come to know such a huge part, not just small, but come to a huge part that there is the problem. And now I can see this problem because the help of the antidote. Because with the antidote, you look, it's like with a torch. With the torch, you are looking with the problem towards the problem. And you switch off the torch, not torch, flashlight.
Yeah.
Torch is Indian thing.
Yeah, torches.
What happened?
Flashlight, yeah.
What happened? I make a. I tell you one funny story today. I like a flashlight very much, and then I was in Canada at that time, and then I wanted to order one specific very good flashlight, and then in Canada, Amazon, they are not delivering to Canada. This is from America. So you need to purchase it in America, and then somebody has to, your friend or family has to bring it. So I have a friend who is coming, and then taking this advantage, I brought it from Amazon, America, Amazon, and sent it to his place, and he brought it. So on the customs, they start checking, and then they asked, "What do you have in your bag?" And then, "What is this black thing?" And then they said, he said, "Torch." And all this security got like freaked out. The torch in India, in England, it's okay, right? It's okay. So for America and other the torch is serious thing. So my friend got quite a hard time there. So the language barrier is very funny sometimes. So yeah, so our kind of practice should be looking towards the problem with a flashlight. You looked at with the hope. You look it with the light. You look with the answer. So then you have a encouragement to look to the situation. But many people, they don't have this kind of a encouragement. So then thinking about emptiness only does not help. So emptiness, investigating emptiness is, I love this so much. I love the word of the Chandrakirti on this, because he's the only one. He said very clearly, there could be two ways of investigating about emptiness. One is saying, like, look at the table. Where does this the inherently existence of table, where is it? Investigating like this, it will not give you this kind of emotional feeling. So now for practitioners, what we have to look at, you have to first recognize that how this negative emotions is really bothering you and really destroying you, how it's killing inside you, and then asking for an answer and investigating more where all this comes from is through the ignorance mind. So then looking into this ignorance mind, which has this kind of solid way of feeling like truth exists by its own. Then once you investigate how the ignorance mind's way of looking, it does not have this kind of a solidity is there, then there's a hope. Then it becomes a kind of a antidote
And then you really wanted to explore more and more into this. Even you feel like there's some kind of a, sometimes falling into the traps of the nihilism, but you really wanted to have this kind of adventure. Because it's like Westerners, mostly Westerners do that kind of serious, dangerous
Sports
and
adventure sports,
going to the Mount Everest, and risking their own lives, but they feel like there is a fun. They're not going to kill themselves, but they wanted to enjoy that so much. And then this kind of enjoyment, they take a risk. So something like that. Something like that. Okay, maybe I talk too much. What's time now? Okay, right on the time. Oh, perfect timing. Okay, so we stop here on the 39. These words, these teachings, we have to take it every day. Ask ourselves, why it's not coming to me? Why it is not coming to me? And then there will be lots of answer. And then sometimes because of ego, ego comes out, then you are the only one who can stop your ego. If somebody comes, you will not like it. So it is very good if you do it by yourself. When the Lama says like you have to stop your ego, then you feel like it is for the word of all the sentient beings. But then you won't take it personal. When it becomes personal, the enemy, your enemy is your really good teacher here. Putting you always a troublemaker, then you go like, you have a special kind of a brain, it's giving you a signal. So we really need this kind of thing to bring down this kind of ego. It's so kind that Shantideva giving each and every kind of answer to our kind of daily problems when we are struggling, the practitioners day-to-day life struggling when they do practice. So there's answer, I think. Yeah. So always stay with the Shantideva. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, dedication, please.
Having thoroughly investigated in accord with all that I've heard, day and night, through the four reasonings, mind born of reflection on these topics of contemplation, may this discernment sever all doubts. In the land encircled by snow mountains, you're the source of all happiness and good. All powerful Chandras intends and gets, so please remain until samsara ends. In all my lives, never separated from perfect gurus, may I enjoy the magnificent Dharma. By completing the qualities of the grounds and paths, may quickly attain the state of Vajradhara. I fully dedicate all these virtues to be able to train just like the hero Manjushri who knows reality, and just like Samantabhadra as well. I fully dedicate my roots of virtue, but the dedication praised is the best, by all the gone beyond victorious ones of the 3 times in order to have good conduct. With my heart going out with great compassion in whatever direction the most precious teachings have not yet spread, or one spread have declined, may I reveal this treasure of happiness and aid.
Okay, thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, Rinpoche.
Thank you, Rinpoche.
Thank you, Rinpoche.